Alright, pooyan hydraulics. Description, symbols, and application. Basic symbol, line, 2. Continuous, flow lines, long dash, short lines. Double, mechanical connection, shaft lever, position rods, long chain line. Optional use, enclosure, several components assembled in one unit. Circles, circles, and semicircles, large circle energy units, conversion pump, compressor motor, measuring instrument, non-rectangular link roller, etc. Smaller mechanical link rotor, etc. Semicircle, semi-rotary actuator. Square rectangular, 1 envelope, 2 envelope, 2 envelope, 3 envelope, 3 envelope, square and rectangle rules, control valve except for the term lines. As a rule, control valves except for the term lines, squares and rectangles. Diamond, conditioner, apparatus, filter, separator, lubricator, heat exchanger. Miscellaneous symbol, 2 dimension lines to the diameter equal to 5e of a full flow connection. Spring zigzag restriction to and then effective viscosity, unaffected viscosity. Functional symbols: triangle, hollow hydraulic flow, pneumatic flow, exhaust the atmosphere. Solid and outline only. Arrow indication: one direction, rotation, path, direction, flow. Regulating apparatus, 3-4 both. Representation without a tail to the end of the arrow are used without distinction. General rule: line perpendicular to the head of the arrow indicates when the arrow moving the interior path allows it to remain connected with the corresponding exterior path. Sloping arrow indication possibility regulation and progressive variability. Fixed high capacity hydraulic with one directional flow shows the outlet and inlet of the hydraulic pump. With 2 directions of flow shows a hydraulic pump ball check valve. Variable displacement with 1 direction, symbol combination 2-1-1, sloping air. With 2 direction flow, symbol combination, sloping error. Fixed capacity compressor, always 1 directional flow. High fixed capacity hydraulic with 1 directional flow. With 2 directions of flow. There's your star drive. Variable displacement hydraulic, 1 direction flow, symbol combination 2-1-2-1-1 and 2-1-1-1-2-3, with 2 direction symbols combination 2-1-2-1-2-3, sloping area. Fixed displacement pneumatic motor, 1 direction flow, 2 direction flow. Variable displacement, 1 directional flow, 2 directional flow. Semicircle hollowed arrows, 2 parallel lines left and to the right. Hydraulic pneumatic oscillating motors. Fixed motor displacement with reversal, with function pump motor according to directional flow, with 1 single direction flow functions pump motor without change direction flow, with 2 direction functions as a pump either direction of flow. Variable displacement reversible directional flow, with single 1 directional flow, with variable displacement pump motor 2 directions of flow. Variable speed drive 2 converter with a pump and motor. Variable capacity remote drives 8-2 cylinders equipped to convert hydraulic pneumatic energy into linear energy. Single acting cylinder returning unspecified detailed specified simplified cylinder with the pressure always acts in the same direction on the extension of the stroke. For the general symbol with the return method is not specified. Combination of general symbol spring, strip return single acting cylinder with a spring. Single injection piston rod cylinder in which pressure fluid operates alternate with the both direction stem with a retract, and double ended piston rod equal centered, differential centered. Differential is to the action depending on the difference between effects with each over the position. Cylinder with cushion, single fixed cushion, double cushion, single adjustable cushion, double adjusted cushion. Telescoping cylinder, single acting, double acting. Fluid pressure intensifiers, fluid 1 type of fluid, 2 types of fluid, and air accumulator, equipment to transform a pneumatic pressure into substantially each hydraulic pressure, vice versa. Control valves, method of valves made of one or more squares and arrows in circuit diagrams. Hydraulic pneumatics are normally shown in this position. One single square indicates the controlling flow pressure. Have in operation infinite number of possible positions between end position, so the various conditions flow across one or more of the ports. Thus, enclosure chosen pressure and interflow regardless of the operating condition of the circuit. Two or more squares identify a direct control valve having many distinct positions as the square of the pipe connection is normally represented representing unoperated condition, operating position reduced, and managing boxes displaced, and the pipe connection corresponding with the ports of the box in question. Simplified symbol valves in case multiple 3. The number refers to the note of the diagram in which the symbol valve is given in full. Direction control valves provided with the opening fully restricted closing one or more paths represent several position. One flow path square containing interior lines. Two closed ports. Two flow paths. One closed port. One flow path. Two flow path. One closed port. Two flow paths cross connection. One flow path and bypass. Two closed position. Non-throttling direct control unit distinct over the circuit conditions. Either depicted with the square basic symbol for 2 position symbol direction control valve. Basic symbol for 3 position direction control valve. Transitory between significant condition between the two distinct are optional represented by a square and dash ends. Designation first figure designation show the number of the ports containing pilot parts for the second, and the figure number of the distinct positions. Directional 2 port 2 positions. Manual control valve 2 ports 2 distinct positions. Control operated pressure operating spring for unloaded 2 ports 2 distinct positions with a spring, and directional control valve 3 to 2, which gives you 3 ports 2 distinct positions. Control by pressure in both directions. Control by solenoid with return the spring indicating the immediate conditions. Direction control pressure direction meaning that the pilot valve single solenoid spring returns. Pressure control valve 4 ports 2 distinct positions. Simplified direction control 5 ports. Control pressure. Unit with the 2 extreme position infinite with the number of the intermediate condition varying with the degree of the throttling. All symbols parallel lines along the length of the box valve with mechanical feedback showing extreme positions. Central neutral position. 2 ports throttle orifice, for example, tracer valve plunger operated again with a return spring. 3 ports throttling operation orifice, for example, direct control pressure against return spring. 4 ports, 4 throttling orifices, for example, tracer valve plunger operated against return spring. Electro-hydraulic, servo-electric pneumatic, single stage. Unit except the analog electrical symbol provides similar analogy with the direct operation. Two-stage mechanical feedback, indirect port operation. 2-stage hydraulic feedback with an indirect operation. No return valve free. Opens inlet pressure higher than outlet. Spring loaded. Opens inlet pressure greater than outlet pressure plus the signal pressure. Pilot control possible. Prevent pilot signal close valve. Pilot close open valve. with a restriction unit allowing free with a one-direction restricted flow in each other. Shuttle valve, inlet port connected to high pressure automatic connected outlet port with another inlet port closed. Rapid exhaust valve, inlet port unloaded output or as freely exhausted. Pressure control. Units and shrink control with the pressure represented with one single square with the one arrow with the tail of the arrow to place to the end of the arrow for the interior control conditions. Pressure control valve, one throttle orifice normally closed. General symbols. Throttle orifice open. Throttle orifice normally open, normally closed. Pressure relief devices. Inlet pressure control, the operating exhaust port reservoir atmosphere against opening force spring. Remote pilot control pressure limited with the corresponding setting of the pilot control. Proportional pressure, inlet pressure limited with valve, proportional pilot pressure. Sequence valve, inlet pressure overcoming opposing force spring with the valve opens, permitting flow from the outlet of the port. Pressure producing valve, reducer without relief port. Pressure unit and pressure variable pressure gives a substantial outlet pressure. Provide inlet pressure remains higher than the required outlet pressure. With the relief valve remote control, the outlet pressure is dependent on the control pressure relief port. With the relief port remote control, but the outlet pressure dependent on the control pressure differential pressure regulator. Outlet pressure remote reduces fixed amount with respect to the inlet pressure. Proportional pressure regulator outlet pressure for reduced fixed ratio respect to the inlet pressure. Flow control valve unit ensuring that the flow expectation position method representation 3-1 throttle valve. Symbol simplified does not indicate the control method of the state of the valve. With the manual, the detailed symbol the indicates control method of the state of the valve. Mechanical controlling for turn spring brake valve. Flow control valve detailed symbol the variation inlet pressure do not affect the rate load. Fixed output relief port over the reservoir, but relieve excessive flow. With variable output, but with the arrow added to the symbol of the restriction, with a variable output relief port reservoir, but with relief and excessive flow. Flows divided into the two flows, fixed ratio, substantially independent pressure variation. Shut-off valve simplified. Source energy pressure simplified. General symbol of hydraulic pressure. Symbol of the nature of the source of indicated independent pressure. Source electrical motor, head engine, flow line connection, working line, return and feed line, pilot control line, drain and bleed line, flexible pipe, electrical line, pipeline connections connected with a dot, cross pipeline not connected, air bleed, exhaust port plane with a provision connection, threaded connection, plugged in, take with the take off line, quick acting coupling. Connected without mechanical opening on return valve. Connected with the mechanically opening on return valves. Uncoupled with the end of the one end. Open and uncoupled close end for non-return valve. One-way valve, three-way valve. Cylinder reservoir open to the atmosphere. Inlet pipe above fluid level. Inlet pipe below fluid level with header liner. Preservoir. Pressure reservoir. Accumulated fluid is maintained. Pressure spring weight. Or compressed gas, air, nitrogen, filter, water traps, lubricator, miscellaneous apparatus, filter and strainers. Shows the bowl and filter elements. Water trap, wooden manual, control drain, automatic drain, filter water trap with the manual with a combination, automatic drain, float. Air dryer, unit air drying, example chemical means dissonant. Lubricator, small quantities of oil added to the air passing through the oil in order to lubricate the equipment of receiving the air. Detailed symbol existing in pressure regulator, pressure gauge, lubricator. Simplified symbol, heat exchanger, apparatus, heating and cooling exchanger, temperature control. Fluid temperature maintained between two pressures. Predetermined values. Arrows indicating may be introduced with dissipated cooler. The arrows diamond indicate extract heating without representation flow line with coolant, indicating flow lines of the coolant. The arrows of the diamond indicating introduction of heat. Control mechanism rotating shaft one direction in either direction. Detent a device maintaining a given position. Locking device symbol and locking symbol control is inserted in the square. Over center device prevents mechanism from stopping dead in center. Pilot device symbol. Pivoting device symbol when transversing lever. Fixed fulcrum. Control method symbol to represent control methods are incorporated symbol the control apparatus for which should be adjacent. For apparatus with several squares, actuation control makes effective the square adjacent to it. Then general symbols show the muscular control, push button, lever, pedal, mechanical plunger, tracer, bispring, bi-roller operating one directional control solenoid with one winding with two windings operating in opposite positions. Two windings operating in variable weight, progressive operating opposite direction, electrical motor by electrical motor. Control application by release pressure, direct action control by dash by electrical, by application of pressure by release of pressure. Differential control areas. Symbol larger rectangle represents large control area priority phase. Indirect control pilot, a general symbol of the pilot directional control valve by application pressure, by release pressure. Interior control pass are inside a unit. Combined control, solenoid, pilot directional valve, pneumatic and hydraulic, pilot directional valve, actuated solenoid and pilot directional valve. Either may be may actuate the control independently. Alright, this is pooyan hydraulics.